All right, welcome back. Another episode of Coach's Corner here with the communications class at North Davies High School. I'm here with Jalen Mullen, a member of our class. I'm Coach McNabb, and today we're going to discuss local or area high school girls and boys basketball. I'm going to focus on more of the girls' side, and Jalen is going to handle most of the boys' side. As we get started here in Southern Indiana with basketball season, the girls have already began their season with games all around the area this week and practices 2.5, 3 weeks in now. And the boys start up their official practice on Monday, November the 11th. So yeah, it's officially basketball season for most schools around. I know there's a few schools still competing in football postseason play, but we're going to give you a preview of what's to come. At least here in the next few months here in Indiana basketball in our area. Jalen, first just talk a little bit about what you guys, our North Davies Cougars, have been doing. And before we get into the girls' side of things, just tell us a little bit about what you're looking forward to this year for you and also your team.
Coach, we've been practicing a little bit 2 days a week, just getting up and down. The football boys obviously weren't with us. But yesterday, it wasn't official, but we had everybody there, so we were able to get after it and go through some plays and different things. I'm really excited about this year, my freshman year, but also for the 4 seniors that we have. It's your last chance, and we got a great group of boys that we have. We had 21 come out as a whole, so we'll be able to have a C team, JV, and varsity. So
Awesome.
I'm really excited for the upcoming year.
Good deal, man. We'll talk more in a little bit about your sectional and things that obviously the challenges that lay ahead there with a few really nice opponents in our sectional back down to the 1A sectional 63. But first we will discuss a few things on the girls' side. First, just in our sectional. The sectional that we are in will consist of us, Lagodi, Bar Eve, Washington Catholic, Orleans, and Shoals. We bring back some experience. We talked about that a little bit on the recent episode of Cougar News Network. But we have 3 seniors, Ashley Knepp, Adrienne Wagler, Mackenzie Lawyer. 3 juniors, Maya Knepp, Maddie Miller, and Haley Bueller. And then an up-and-coming freshman, Maddie Loniger. Those 7 will primarily be our rotation as far as the varsity goes. And our expectations are certainly to compete in the sectional and have a chance. We know it's a tall task, but we have a group that can accomplish those things and hopefully, have a chance come February. So the next school is Lagodi. Lagodi is going to have to adjust to life without one of their best players, probably best athletes that Lagodi's had, Tiana Graber. She was a great shooter, great scorer. She was a great defender. She anticipated a lot of things for them. She kind of made them go last year. And, but I know they'll be up for the task because they have a lot of good players coming back as well. So looking forward to seeing them play and seeing what kind of challenges they will bring because as we know, they're going to be very talented still. Bar Eve brings back most of their players as well. Led by the Ainsco girl. She's a tough matchup, for anybody being a taller forward / point guard that can do a lot of things that you just can't teach. And she's very athletic, and she's surrounded by some really nice players that know their role. And I think Bar Eve has high expectations as well for their upcoming season. So we're a tall task there for our Buggy Bowl matchup, and then also to try to match up with them in the sectional. Also, WC, they're going to have a new coach. We'll see. We play them next Thursday. We'll know more about them after that. They've had some struggles the last few years, but a new coach can change some things. So we'll see on them. We play Shoals tonight, Friday night. The Jug Rocks, we'll see as well another new coach. So when you have new coaches and turnover like that, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get going. And then lastly, Orleans. Orleans is a really talented ball club. They bring back most everybody as well. They're very young still, but they are talented. They have a nice guard. I think her last name is Robbins. She's a very nice player, and then they have a big inside that's a handful. So I'm sure they have aspirations of winning the sectional here at North Davies come February. So a very tough sectional as always, and on the boys and girls side. But that's the sectional field for this upcoming season for girls basketball. As far as 2A goes, just really quickly, the 2A sectional here in Southern Indiana will be held at Eastern Green High School. It is extremely loaded with talent. You may have noticed that Vincennes Reveille was left out of our 1A sectional. That's because they bumped up to 2A. They will join the likes of Linton, South Knox, North Knox, Eastern, Paoli, all sorts of talented teams in that 2A Southern Indiana sectional there over at Eastern. Reveille obviously coming off of a state runner-up team, losing Grace Wagner, but bringing back the Tolbert girl, who has a lot of talent, and I'm sure they're going to be a tough out come sectional time. Linton brings back most of their girls as well. They lost a few seniors, but when you bring back girls like Vanessa Shafford and the Burgess girl and the Rose girl, and they brought in a Hayes girl that moved in from Shakamak. They have a lot of talent, and certainly will be able to go up and down with anybody. The defending sectional champions, South Knox, they bring back basically everybody as well, all their starters, all their scoring. They did lose one defender that was a big part of their success, but I think that as far as scoring the basketball and competing with the likes of Linton and Reveille, they will have what it takes. And then North Knox is always competitive as well. They have a Gracie Poe who scored 24 points against us this past Tuesday night. And, North Knox defeated us 37-30 over at North Knox to open the season. But North Knox will always be competitive. They're a good program. Eastern is up and coming. They're the host school. I'm sure they have expectations to compete and, give these teams a run. I'm sure every coach thinks any game is winnable one time, so I'm sure that's their thought. And then Paoli is a new team in this sectional as well. Don't know much about Paoli. We don't play them. They're a little out of our area, but I know they bring a lot of talent. So those are the girls' two sectionals that are in our area. A lot of good, talented girls basketball players in this area. So if you ever just check our schedule. We play most of these schools. Come out and support the Cougars. We'll move on to the boys' side, but I just wanted to make sure the girls got their credit because there's a lot of talent around here, and a lot of competitive basketball teams. So, with that said, best of luck to the Lady Cougars as we continue our season and progress towards postseason play in February with the idea of getting better each and every day. So we'll move on to the boys' side. I know Jalen is ready to discuss what's to come on that side of it. The sectional field, I believe, is the exact same. So he can touch on each school in the sectional, and then we'll discuss the Graber Post, or now Old National Bank, tournament that is held here at North Davies over the holidays. So Jalen, first discuss the sectional field for the boys, and looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Yes, sir, Coach. I think when the new sectional draw came back out, I was happy to see that it's back to where it was. Sectional 63 with North Davies, Lagodi, Bar Reeve, Washington Catholic, Orleans, Shoals. That's how it should be, I believe, especially with the big three,
Yep.
North Davies, Lagodi, and Bar Reeve.
The rivalries need to be
Yes.
renewed,
Yep.
and it's a great place to do it.
Can't wait to see what happens. Talk about a little bit about Lagodi. They have a new coach coming in. I knew this summer they were trying to implement a new system with him coming in. They have Silas Bauer, the Wildman twins. Those are juniors. They're going to be returning from last year. They got Landon Harder, who's a senior shooter. Silas Bauer can be the best player on the floor at any given time whenever he wants to. Then you got Luke Nante, who the coach likes as a point guard. I played with him a little bit when I was still at Lagodi, and good kid, can handle the ball well, shoot it if he's open. And then you got the freshman, Peyton Bledsoe. He's everybody's looking forward to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's great player, great kid. He's grown. He's about 6'3" now. Can shoot it left-handed, get to the rim, pass. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. We opened the season with them, so I think it's going to be a great first game. I'll speak on that a little bit later after I'm done with this. Bar Eve, they're going to have a senior, actually two seniors, Keegan O'Neal and Jacob Wagler returning. Keegan O'Neal, big 6'7", big kid, is
Recently committed to
U of Indy, I think.
University of Indianapolis.
Yes.
So congrats to Keegan. Keegan and I know each other from back when he was a sixth grader at a Crane summer camp. He was just a little goofy kid back then, but now obviously he's doing big things on the basketball floor. So congrats to Keegan as he continues his athletic and academic career at U of Indy.
Yes, sir. Then you got some juniors. You got Bryson Graber, Devin Graber, Jamison Miller. They'll be returning. They'll be getting some varsity action. Bryson Graber, who is a great point guard for them. Pass first, facilitates very well.
But I wouldn't leave him open because he's going to knock it down as well. So.
Yeah. Then you got this move-in that everybody's been talking about, I think, Kurt Hope, D1 prospect in my opinion.
Yes,
I don't know at which level. But 6'8", can stand out on the three-point line and knock it down, can finish well at the rim, runs the court well. The question is if he's going to be able to play, eligibility, since he's moving schools.
Right.
We'll find out on that later.
Sure.
I think the decision of the Board of Education is Wednesday, I believe, next Wednesday. So we'll have to find out there. Obviously, if they get him, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely.
All year. It doesn't matter who they're playing. WC, I don't know much about them. I know that they lost Brock Craney, I believe.
Yes, they did.
He was a senior last year. That was their main scorer. Don't know much about them, so we'll have to see once
we get going.
Yeah. Orleans, I know they got some good players. I think they got a big kid who's a nice player for them. They're going to be a tough opponent. They always play you hard. They'll get in your shorts and play good defense. I know that. Shoals, they're going to be better than expected. They had a really good season last year, a winning record, first one in a while, I believe. And they're going to be a lot better than everyone expects, I feel like. Win a lot of games that people don't see coming.
Oh yeah, their expectations are high down there for sure. A good group of guys athletically right now in the building for them, and I'm sure Coach Abel down there is. He sees the field back to where it is, and it's tough, but I'm sure he has high hopes and expectations for his boys. So that's the sectional for the boys. Jalen already mentioned it, but on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, the North Davies Lady Cougars will take on the Lagodi Lions at 6 o'clock, and then following that will be the opening game for our boys taking on Lagodi as well. So a girls-boys varsity doubleheader on Tuesday, on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I believe that's the 26th of November. So Jalen wanted to mention that a little bit more. So talk a little bit about what that matchup may look like. First game versus what it could be, 4 or 5 months later in March.
Yeah. Us versus Lagodi, there's going to be some nerves, obviously, as our first game. Maybe not for everyone, but definitely freshmen and people. A big atmosphere. It's the first game of the season for the boys.
Yeah, should expect a nice crowd.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to want to see that game, especially to open it up. Because usually Bar Eve in Washington was always the first game the day before Thanksgiving, but we're going to open up a day before them. So
correct.
Can't wait to see what's going to happen. Thing that I expect is both teams trying to figure out new offenses and different things. Might be a little shaky at the beginning, and then once the season starts flowing and everybody gets comfortable with their thing, be a close game as I would expect when we open it.
Yep, all those sectional 63 matchups tend to always come down to a bucket or two, especially when the rivalries were at its peak and before people started going to 2A and things like that. So very excited to get the boys season going. I'm sure, everything being pushed back a week this year, I believe due to leap year. Coaches and players alike are both excited and chomping at the bit to get started on Monday for practice. Let's move to the Christmas time holiday tournament here at North Davies, becoming bigger and bigger each and every year, and this year's no different with the likes of some new teams, some new athletes coming to North Davies to the Cougar Den, highlighted by Southridge and Colson Montgomery, and then also Blackford. And is it Luke Brown?
Yes,
yeah,
is.
Luke Brown. He's a junior, on pace to be a top 5, top 8, maybe depending on how he does the next couple years. Top 3, maybe even scorer for Indiana high school basketball history. They actually take on each other in the first round, so that's going to be a highlighted matchup there for the first round. But we have 8 teams here coming in for the Old National Bank Tournament. Lagodi will take on Rushville at 3 p.m. On that first day. I believe that's a Monday. I could be wrong on that, so check the check online for those schedules. South Knox will take on the host school North Davies at 6 o'clock. Bar Eve will take on Brownstown Central. Brownstown's always been a successful team that's came down here and won a lot, cut down the nets here a lot over the holidays. They will play at 7:30, and then that aforementioned game there with Montgomery and Southridge taking on Blackford and Luke Brown at 4:30. So a lot of talent here over the 3 days, and a lot of potential sectional matchups, a lot of potential Division I players taking on each other. Just a lot of fun, competitive high school basketball. And I put it up against any holiday tournament in the state. I think it's finally starting to get the recognition that it deserves. And, North Davies and the admin and everybody that helps puts on a great tournament. And if you get a chance to come out and catch some holiday hoops, there's no better place than here at North Davies over those 3 days. So, Jalen, discuss, before we finish up here, just briefly to touch on the matchups and what you're looking forward to most about the holiday tournament.
Yeah, I can't wait. This will be my first year that I'm able to take part in it, but we've watched it the past 2 years with who was that came down and won it 2 years in a row?
Fort Wayne Blackhawk.
Yeah, Fort Wayne Blackhawk.
Yep.
A lot of talent there coming down and winning it 2 years in a row.
Fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
Some people maybe wanted to see a local team succeed and cut those nets down, but being the competitive field that I know our administration wants, it was a great addition, and but I think a lot of people are happy to see some new blood and some more local talent. But with the addition of Blackford coming down from the north, it's just a great thing to have all these different types of teams and different types of talent. So touch on the matchups, Jay.
Definitely.
And we'll go from there.
Lagodi versus Rushville. I don't know much about Rushville, and as I spoke on Lagodi earlier, it should be a good matchup, I would believe. South Knox and North Davies. South Knox has the returning brother.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name, but yeah, there's he had an older brother that played for South Knox. Yes. Had a great career, and the younger one is probably going to be relied on a lot and to be the man.
Yes.
His name is left me for some reason, but
Definitely.
It'd be a good matchup.
It should be, and then us I spoke on, that'd be a good matchup. Bar Eve and Brownstown, great matchup. Brownstown, a very defensive team. Coach implies on it. That's what they win most of their games on is their defense. And Bar Eve, a very offensive firepower. It should be a great game, 7:30. So last game of the first day. And then Blackford versus Southridge, the two players that I think everybody would love to see in Luke Brown and Colson Montgomery. Two probably D1 possible prospects coming down and facing off two of the top players, at least, in Indiana as of right now that we know
and
about.
And they're both Montgomery is a junior,
yes,
as is Brown.
Yes.
So these guys are going to be in the tournament for this year and next year. So Montgomery is also a very extremely talented baseball player. He's their shortstop and a lefty stick that can really produce for the baseball team. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go that route as well, just because I know from people that I've talked to, he's getting looks already from major D1s and also potentially even some MLB scouts. So a very athletic kid, coming in here to take on Luke Brown is certainly probably the matchup of day one, and then hopefully we can see some even better matchups as we move through the tournament. So looking forward to that. Jay, best of luck to you as a freshman, and obviously to our team, the 4 seniors, and some of and all the other guys as well. That rounds out our squad this year. We'll have Coach Dalrymple on at some point before the season kicks off, potentially, or maybe right after the season gets going, to discuss what's happened and what's to come. And we'll continue to progress, to track our Lady Cougars and also our North Davies boys as well. So with that said, there's a lot of good basketball that's going to be played here at North Davies and the surrounding area. So get out and take in some games. If you can't, tune in on the radio. 106.5 The Bullet will have every North Davies boys game and several girls games as well. Elmer Graber does a really nice job on the radio. He's looking forward to the opportunity to do that. And so yeah, that's what's coming for high school hoops. Jay, any final thoughts or comments?
Nope.
All right,
Thank you,
man.
Coach.
Well, thanks for being here, Jay, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening. And we'll be back soon with another episode of the Coach's Corner.